Morning everybody. Today is day 8 of the AZT and we're continuing our way down the North Kaibab Trail past the Cottonwood Campground. Camped out last night. Really early night, fell asleep at like 8. It was awesome. The moment the sun went down, just crashed. The long sleep, we both really needed it. Heal our bodies, heal our minds, and get ready for the day. Today we have a much easier day. Yesterday we lost like 4,200 feet. Today we're only losing 1,400 feet. And both of them are over 7 miles. So today it's gonna be much more gradual. And it's next to this beautiful creek in the bottom of the canyon. So guys, one of the really cool things about Bright Angel Creek here, as I was talking about yesterday, there's a really high rate of endemism in the Grand Canyon. So a lot of different biodiversity and different species that can be present here due to the different ecological variables that are afforded by this beautiful canyon. So right along Bright Angel Creek, this creek next to me, there's actually a certain species of grass that's only found down here. Being that I'm not a botanist, I really couldn't point it out to you, but it's kind of a cool factoid. I'm gonna try and take a few pictures and properly ID it once I get out of the canyon. But one of these grasses down here, probably one of them. Kind of cool. And there's that big waterfall right there, just trickling down. Very neat. We're about halfway through our day already. It's only 9:41. So making pretty good time, and the deep canyon causes these shadows to last for a long time throughout the day. So we're really taking advantage of the shade while we can. Really helping out. This slot canyon just keeps getting smaller and smaller. It's so cool. Looks like there used to be old telephone lines that would run through here. It's like they've definitely been destroyed over the years. A lot of the development down here took place in the early 1900s with the Civilians Conservation Corps, which was one of the big work groups to help get us out of the Great Depression, actually put people back to work because unemployment was so high. So a lot of these trails were constructed back then. That includes Phantom Ranch, for example, which is one of the main buildings down here that we're gonna be hiking past, as well as obviously all this trail, all the blasting that needed to be done to carve this out of cliffs. It's really cool to see what humans can do when we all work together to accomplish a common goal. And here's another footbridge. I wonder how they got all this heavy-duty metal down here. I doubt the donkeys could handle this. So guys, we've now descended even further into the canyon and further into Bright Angel Creek, and the Bright Angel shale has given way to these huge slabs of the basement rock. It's either basement or the Grand Canyon group, or super group, something like that. You can tell because they have the angled striations in them. They all kind of go sideways. It's not like the horizontal ones we were seeing yesterday. These are all igneous rock, which meant it's from molten lava. We can see over on the sides here, this is some granite. The thing about granite is it has to be formed by lava, by magma, that's been cooled without being exposed to the air. It's what lets it have such a pretty and clear crystalline structure to it, because there wasn't that exposure to oxygen like a basalt, which turns that really deep black. They're both the same process, same magma, just one occurs in air and one occurs without the air. It's really, really gorgeous down here, guys. It's been a great hike through this little slot canyon. We only have about 2 more miles to go till we're in camp. It's only 10:48. We've been stopping and taking a lot of pictures and doing pretty well. My ankle's kind of been aching the past few days, or since I did that 17-mile day. I should have conditioned more before I got on the trail, guys. Learn the lesson from this video, not from experiencing this yourself. It's no fun. Luckily, we packed with ankle brace, so that's really helping me out, but I could have been in quite a bit of trouble if we hadn't had that. So definitely something to consider if you've never done a hike like this before. Your body is going to adjust to it in its own unique way, and you need to train beforehand so you know what to expect and what to be prepared for. And that'll also reduce your risks of being injured out on the trail, because you'll be stronger and your body won't have to compensate in these really strange ways that can make the injury even more bad, more worse. Look at all these different layers you can see all the way up there. At the top, that's that Bright Angel shale, I believe, which just makes those very sideways layers. And then these basement rocks, or either basement rocks or the supergroup rocks, they come in at this sideways angle and they're crazy looking. Here you can see some pretty intense veins of granite coming through this slab of rock. So this is either metamorphic or igneous rock. Because technically, metamorphic could be igneous or sedimentary, but the igneous means it comes from lava. Metamorphic just means it was under intense pressure or heat to change its state of being in a way. So behind me here is some really cool metamorphic rock. You see these striations in them. Here's granite, here's some basalt with some more granite inlaid in it. And that shows that this was magmatic rock that was compressed really, really hard with a lot of pressure over time. That's what makes these really complex structures and patterns in the rock. You can see the veins go vertical or a little diagonal, and that's actually due to the uplift of the Colorado Plateau. That's when this whole piece of land was in between of 2 continental plates that were coming together. That caused a lift, and that lift is also what made all this pressure that made these rocks get tilted upwards and have all these really cool shapes and patterns in them. Tells a little bit of a story. Hi friends, my battery died at the end of the hike. We got through Phantom Ranch, set up camp in Bright Angel Campground, and now we're getting a sneak peek of tomorrow's hike over by the Colorado River, which is just a small hike from our campsite. So these rocks that you see behind me are some of the oldest rocks that are in this entire canyon. They're the lowest, so these are the basement rocks, the Vishnu basement rocks. These rocks are the ones just upstream from me here. 1.86 billion years old is what they've been dated at. That's the oldest. And some of them are only 1.5 or so billion years old. It's ridiculously old, basically from the creation of this planet. Life as we know it, life at all, didn't exist on this planet when these rocks were being formed. They're, I believe, 3 times older than any life on this planet, even single-celled organisms to our knowledge. And that's crazy to be in the presence of them and to be able to bask in their glory, so to speak. So the Colorado River and the Vishnu basement rock.
So grateful to be here.
Sounds like there's a helicopter coming in. So that helicopter coming down was picking up the human waste that's processed down here and then carried out via helicopter. It was 400 and some odd pounds that they were just lifting up. And one ranger informed us that it's probably the most expensive poop in the country due to how it's processed. So, do with that information what you will.
You can use right there.
I'm gonna show you around the campsite real quick. So we have these awesome mesquite trees. In the last little bit on the trail, we actually walked into these mesquites, so it's finally gotten warm enough for them. I see these back at home, guys. A lot of people don't know that the bottom of the canyon is actually pretty similar in temperature to the valley. And it's really warm down here. Like in the summer, it's over 100 degrees, and a lot of people don't bring enough water because they don't plan for that. Over here, we have our pack stand because the animals here are actually so accustomed to humans feeding them that they dig into your backpack. You don't leave all your pouches open and let them explore through it. They'll gnaw through your stuff. Same with in the tent. So you can't have any food, and they have these special boxes that you have to keep your food in. And they're people proof as well as animal proof. Lefty Lucy.
I'm telling you.
That's the easy one.
I couldn't get it. It was tight. Sorry. You do know my.
So those are some of the precautions they use in Grand Canyon National Park, and you need to take them seriously to protect your gear, yourself, and respect the resources so they can be used for future generations. Yeah. Soaking in Bright Angel Creek cures all ailments, let me tell you. Including ailments of the soul. Look at that view. There are some horses coming down trail right now. Check it out. It might be mules.
Okay, buddy.
We're good? Perfect. Just crossed the bridge. On our way up to Indian Garden now. Just caught some of the first light that hits the river for our stills, and so excited to see how those turn out. Gotta get my hiking stick ready for go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Wow. So today we're gonna be putting on as much elevation gain as we lost yesterday, but in almost half the miles. So it's gonna be a pretty steep day. Just gotta take out one step at a time. Hopefully all the joints and ligaments cooperate in this endeavor. So here's some of this awesome old rock. Looks metamorphic due to the layers, but you can see this really dark stuff. That's gonna be your igneous rock, the stuff that came from magma. Same with the granite that's veined in here. So all this came basically from when our planet was a big molten mess. And all this other sedimentation has occurred on top over these layers to make the beautiful myriad of colors you see in the canyon. Oh, here's a good view of the bridges. There's one bridge for the Bright Angel Trail and one for the Kaibeb. Going up Bright Angel, as I said before, I know it's not official AZT, but had to do the alternate to do the canyon with my mom, so I'm doing that. It's important that her and I get to experience this together. I'll definitely be back. Just too pretty. Hello friends, we made it to Indian Garden safe, set up camp, ate a bunch of food, and then just hung out. Now it's almost sundown, so we're doing this short day hike out to Plateau Point for sunset, and we're out here taking some pictures. It's really, really pretty. So one of the interesting biology things that we were just kind of discussing when we were walking out here, we're at a very similar elevation to the first night we camped down here at Cottonwood, but the biome, like the biology that's around us, still very much resembles that which we found at Phantom Ranch, which was pretty much like home, brittle bush, things like that, which we're still surrounded by. So we were trying to figure out, okay, why is it still this desert landscape here, even though we're at the same elevation we were the first night? Like, there were oaks there and, you know, all this lush life. So we figure it might be because there's a lot more sunshine that hits this part of the canyon because it opens up right here. So there's a lot more sunshine throughout the day. So perhaps that dries it up a little bit more and makes it a little bit more like Phantom Ranch, which is actually down where you see that valley kind of drops away, right about there. It's a pretty short walk just to see it, but it's about 5 miles to actually get down there from here. So we're now actually hiking up on the Tonto platform on this trail, and that is basically composed of all that really, really hard rock, the metamorphic Grand Canyon supergroup, and the Vishnu basement layer, the really, really old rocks, is basically what's beneath our feet. I think there's a layer of sandstone and then those really, really durable rocks from the primordial era, basically. So this is the Tonto bench. It's the little shelf, or Tonto platform. It's the little shelf that you see between the river and the actual rim. There's like a lower rim, if you will. It's actually covered in a lot of scrubland, at least in this area. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I think sunset tonight is going to be pretty beautiful. The sun is now setting on my final night in the Grand Canyon. I have mixed feelings. I'm excited to get out of here and onto the next adventure down the trail, but it's also been a really rewarding experience, and I've I've never explored this place rim to rim, and I'm sad that the experience has to come to an end because it's been absolutely gorgeous, and I've gotten so many beautiful pictures, and I feel like I've gotten to talk a lot about a lot of different topics that I feel for because it's just such an interesting place. So many different topics. So I'm gonna top off my water here, hike back to camp. My mom ditched me because her legs weren't feeling up to it and she wanted to rest for tomorrow's really big hike. So I'll see you guys in a little bit.